If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new songs in the description.
Lil Yachty is one of the most important and influential artists out right now. And here's why. So 2 weeks ago, Lil Yachty released his new album, Let's Start Here, a departure from his usual style that he was doing ever since 2016, ever since he originally really blew up. And we see him take on this direction of an alternative, experimental, indie rock, Tame Impala type of style sound that he, very much so doesn't perfect, but at least advances a lot on this new album. It was generally received pretty positively. It's one of those albums that you go into and you're like, how am I going to like this? Because we knew it was going to be different. We knew that it was going to be different, but we didn't know that it was actually going to be good. And the way that he experiments around on this thing with different sounds, with using his voice in different, occasions and different ways that he hasn't done before. I mean, we see him do a couple of that stuff, on like Poland or Poland 2 Holster, whatever that was called. We do see a little bit of that same voice effect, whatever in particular now, also on this new album, but he definitely touched into a new creative side that we hadn't seen before. But his fan base has been defending that and has been defending that he's a really innovative and creative artist for the longest time. And maybe they saw something in him that he had yet to show the public. And I think that is exactly what he did with Let's Start Here. Now, today we're not going to be talking about Let's Start Here. That thing is already like 2 weeks in the past, so there's not like a review of it. But we're going to expand on why Yachty's influence reaches further than just trying out different things and doing them so successfully. I mean, he sold what, like 36K with this thing, or 26K, whatever. It was actually more than I expected for an experimental album like that. I mean, Trippy sold like only 50K the week before, and he had half of the industry on there. So Yachty, big shout out to Yachty for this one, man. And I think with that album, he did what a lot of other artists wanted to do, especially people like Drake with Honestly Nevermind, or other artists trying to take on this indie rock sound. We see a lot of people get influenced by that. Travis Scott has been famously using it for the majority of his career, always working in different elements of it. I mean, he does that pretty successfully, but other artists like this alternative, indie rock style. Steve Lacy, Gemini Rights was a big album this year, and Bad Habit, a big song of this year. I like the whole record, just not Bad Habits that much. The rest of the record was way better, but people seem to like it, and I think that we're going to see a big transition from mainstream hip-hop listeners that were previously listening to trap, drill, whatever was going on at the time, now also tapping into that indie rock wave. And I think we're going to see a lot of hip hop artists also capitalize off of that. And Yachty is not one of the first ones, but one of the first ones that we're looking at and being like, wow, he really put down that transition very smoothly and very effortlessly. And as I said, what I respect and admire so much more about this dude is that he has his hands in way more than just his own music. It seems like Yachty is to be found in a lot of different places. We're going to talk about Her Loss in a second, but first of all, I also want to take a quick moment to appreciate what he, for example, also did for Detroit, because back in 2020, 2021, he released the Michigan Boat Boy record, which featured a lot of artists from Detroit that obviously he basically put on, at least for an audience that wasn't tapped into them before. It definitely did that for me, and he went so much into that sound, and he knows so much about it, more than just like a famous person that sees something and is like, I'm in touch with that. Yeah, I'm like also one of you guys. It seems like he was really following that. It seems like he's really digging deep into these subcultures, being it Detroit, rap, being it indie rock. He knows a lot about it. It seems like he's so in touch with it that when he does it, it seems genuine and not just like a commercial ripoff because he has a big name and he can promote this thing to seem like he's in touch with whatever. He's actually in touch and he knows a lot about it. And also that Detroit flow, he really also perfected for himself. We saw that famous freestyle that he did in like April of last year, which was definitely dope. If you haven't yet, make sure to go check it out because he does display some skill of the Detroit flow on there, the signature flow on there. So definitely go check out that that one out. But now we're going to talk about Her Loss, because this was also one of the things that kind of blew me away. Not in like a sense that I was like, I didn't expect this, but it was like, whoa, this dude is like, he's on to something. Y'all probably heard the story that, you know, Yachty was the one that picked the cover for her loss that, you know, got quite some, some controversy back when it dropped. But Yachty was actually the one picking it. And I think that one also sheds light on, like, even Drake and 21 Savage respect Yachty's professional opinion and choices so much that they let him choose the cover or suggest a cover for their record. And when you dig down into the production credits of Her Loss, you can find Yachty on 4 individual tracks. We have him on Back Outside Boys, on Privileged Rappers, on Pussy and Millions, and on Jumbotron Shit Poppin'. By the way, that video for Jumbotron Shit, that was dope that Drake did. And also, when you kind of listen to the album, as I guess all of us have, you can hear Yachty ad-libs on Back Outside Boys, a leak, kind of like a snippet that we've been wanting for a very long time, and we have Yachty ad-libs on here. So it seems like he was also very much involved in the creative process and in the production process of this album. Now we see him spend a lot of time with Drake. I mean, the two of them have been spending a lot of the past year together. I mean, that one famous Instagram story where Drake is handing Yachty his Nintendo Switch console, whatever. So it seems like Yachty's really in these circles of like the top tier creative people, and it seems like he's influencing them as much as those people are also influencing him. And I wouldn't be surprised if Yachty was the one that kind of convinced Drake to drop Honestly Nevermind, you know, to be the one that's like, yeah, why not drop it, because it's different, but it's good, even though it wasn't that good, but like, you know, just to take the step and do it. It seems like Yachty's someone that's behind the scenes pulling a lot more strings than we actually see from the outside, as I said, with the, you know, Her Loss thing, but also then tapping into these different subcultures. And it's going to be very interesting to watch Yachty from here on out to see what he does. He did say that this next album was going to be different. So in that one, he was talking about Let's Start Here, but the one after that was also going to be different. So maybe we can expect another indie rock album from Lil Yachty, but that is still up in the air. We don't know about it. But that's my guess. And I want to see this dude win. I think he's also such a funny, just like his existence is funny, if you know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. And like, he's a genuine dude. He's not like you know, out of this world. He still like eats his wings and plays Nintendo Switch. Like he's like a normal dude, but he's in a way so creative and so unorthodox. That was the word that I was looking for, because that was the word that he used to describe the Detroit flow and the cadences and the lyrics that they're using. He's so unorthodox, and unorthodox, I think, is the tone that I want to end this video on, because that is the word that I want to use to describe Yachty, and I want to see him gather a lot more success. Obviously, I made videos on him back when Poland dropped and calling him a meme rapper or whatever, but Let's Start Here really convinced me of also the positive side of him being weird. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see more artists do the Poland sound, vocal effects, whatever, and do them successfully. So it's going to be a very different, it's going to be a very interesting and different, you know, time going forward now, looking at what people Yachty influences, what he does himself, and how that pays off. Maybe that will become the mainstream. We need these trendsetters. So I'm happy that he's trying stuff out. All your thoughts on this? What do you think about, you know, Lil Yachty, his development, what he's doing creatively, all of the stuff you got on this, your opinions, your theories, your comments on this? Please let me know in the comments down below.
If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.